Hey there runners, it's Nathan with Point Forward. We're getting closer to the fall and the winter. Just want to talk about safe running as the light gets less abundant and as it starts to get colder. So let's start with some lighting tips. If you have the ability, find lit streets. Like I live by downtown, so I typically run by downtown or by campus. But if you can't do that, make sure that you're getting something reflective, like a vest. There's arm sleeves, there's things that either light up or just have reflective materials. You just want to be able to be visible when you're running in the dark. And at the same time, get a light for yourself. I just have a camping headlamp that I carry with me and, make sure I can see the road. And then it also helps me shine to cars that I'm present and I'm running. So make sure you're visible. When it comes to staying warm, we have everything from what kind of hat, something to cover our face, our trunk, our hands, and our legs. So for all of this, layers is going to be a big deal, and none of it really needs to be fancy running specific gear, although there's a ton of it out there. Starting at the hat, I recommend a tight beanie, and the reason for that is because you can use the beanie for most of your running, but then if it gets really cold out, you can have your tight beanie right there, and then a bigger hat over the top just to get that extra insulation. Next is going to be your face. You're going to want something, I usually use a buff, just so that when it gets really cold, you can cover your nose, keep your cheeks a little bit warmer. Coming down to the trunk, this is where layers are going to be a big deal. Just having lots of different options in terms of long sleeve shirts that you can layer on top of each other. Sometimes a sweatshirt can be nice to throw over the top of all of that. And then for me, in the coldest times, I love to have a windproof shell, and that just insulates all the heat that you're getting and doesn't let the wind cut through and make it cold. Next, we got the gloves, and for our hands, so I have a nice thin pair of gloves here, but then this is where in the coldest times I found windproofing comes in big again. So I have a pair of windproof mittens that I can just throw over the top of gloves. And last year I went in a run when it was with the wind chill -26, and my hands were actually sweating with the windproof material. So that can really carry you through the coldest parts. And finally we have the legs. This is probably the most running specific thing that we'll talk about, but I think getting a nice pair of running tights is the best way to stay warm and keep those legs warm through the winter. If you're wearing loose sweatpants, the wind can just cut those really sharp, and so it doesn't really keep you too warm. So I recommend kind of a medium thickness running tight to get you through most of the winter. Too thin, it's not going to do much for you. But if it gets really cold, you put on your medium thickness and then you put sweatpants on over the top and you'll be good to go. So stay safe this winter and this late fall. Keep yourself visible. Choose routes if you can that keep light on the road, and stay warm enough. If you got any questions, feel free to hit us up and we'll help point in the right direction.